All right, we are back, and we are here with the founder of Banners for Freedom, Robert Agee. How you doing?
Hey, doing great.
Good to see you. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your organization. I have information here, but I'd like our listeners to hear it directly from you.
Sure. Well, it's quite the testimony, and it's a lot of it's because of these conferences, the Clay Clark Reawaken America Tour Conference, right?
Wow.
So we wanted to go to the one in Tulsa, the very first ones. We're in Dallas, Texas area.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice and close. Went to go get tickets. They were already sold out. They sell out really quick.
Nice.
So we had to wait until the Tampa conference. We felt like that was the next one that we were supposed to go to. Went down there with the family. It was amazing. It was like 8,000 people. You know, what I appreciated about it, it was like the truth and the spirit coming together, meeting one another. And we got really inspired. You know, General Flynn's up there. He's like, local action creates national impact, get involved at a local level. We get back to Texas. We're having a 4th of July party, big fireworks out on our property. And the people were talking about how the county commissioners had just passed this law where we had to apply for a permit to build a chicken coop out in the county, right? And we said, no, that don't sit right with us. So let's do this local action thing, and let's let the county commissioners know how we feel about it. So we all showed up that next Tuesday, whole bunch of us. We filled up the courtroom, the lobby, the parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
And they quickly rescinded. We realized that, just showing up and speaking up can make a difference.
Yeah.
But while we were there, and I'm ashamed to say, I've never been to our county commissioner meetings.
It's okay. It's all right.
It took something that directly affected me to get up off my rear end and get in. And we're all busy. We all have an excuse.
You know what? It wasn't until COVID I had never done the same thing.
Right.
So I'm right there with you. I understand.
Well, you know what? While we were there, they had a couple of COVID agenda items they were going over. There were some people were wearing masks. And at the end of every meeting, the judge was encouraging people to go get this experimental gene therapy shot. And I'm like, what is going on in our county commissioner meetings? Why is the judge encouraging people to go get an experimental gene therapy shot? So we felt like this is a perfect opportunity to get involved a little further, right? Because we can take the information from events like this, or from the And We Know show, or Stu Peters, or any of these people that are putting out good information. We can take that and deliver it and communicate it to our county commissioners.
Yeah.
So we spent the next 17 weeks and just went down there and wore them out. We'd print off material. We would tell them all about it. You can speak 5 minutes during public forum, but you can also speak on the agenda item. You got 5 minutes, and they had 2 COVID agenda items.
Oh my gosh.
So for 15 minutes, that they wisened up and they removed those COVID agenda items. They got tired of listening to me up there telling them how Bill Gates is, evil and so many other things.
Yep.
But while we were there, we had some victories, right? The masks started falling off. The judge stopped encouraging folks to go get the jab at the end of the meetings. And they actually adopted Governor Abbott's vaccine mandate ban that he put in place in Texas.
Wow.
So we were really encouraged by those victories. And we had an ad out in the paper, and there was some censorship taking place there. My wife, they were coming after the children at this point. They had just announced that they were, approving it for children under certain ages, and they were going to be putting up these pop-up vaccine clinics in schools. So we're like, what else can we do to wake up our community? Well, my wife was down in town, right next to the Sonic. There was this digital billboard right across the street from the high school. And she felt like the Lord spoke to her and said, this is what you need to do next. You need to get a message up on this billboard. She came to me with that, and I told her she was crazy. I said, a billboard? We're not billboard people, right? You know how busy I am. I'm trying to run I'm a general contractor, and I've got all these things. Like I said, we always have an excuse on why we can't do something. So, she poked at me a couple times. And
that was Stella Emanuel.
It didn't take
you got it.
It didn't take very long for her to encourage me to get this billboard, because they were coming after the children.
Yeah.
And that's war. You don't mess with Texas, you don't mess with our children. And war calls for sacrifices. I said, babe, how much is this billboard? She had already figured out. She had contacted the company. She had, already contacted the And We Know show to say, hey, we want to put your logo up on here. See, we're not a source of information. We're just two simple backwoods folk, right? But the And We Know show is a source. Thus, the Clay Clark Reawaken America tours, you guys are a source, right? So we were going to put up their logo with their URL. And we were just going to put up the VARS data. That speaks for itself. We don't even need a call to action. Just, COVID-19 jab injuries, 1,400,000.
And counting.
And counting. If that doesn't shock you into thinking twice,
Yeah.
It don't matter if you put up a call to action or not. So that's what we did. We took an ad out. We put up that number. Back then in November 1st of last year, it was only 800,000. Now it's 1.4 million. And that's just what's being reported to the Health and Human Services.gov website, which according to the Harvard report, the Lazarus report, that study they did, that's like, 1% of what's being reported? It's unbelievable. 30,000 deaths. All right.
It's ridiculous.
We got to do something. We got to bypass this media censorship, which I'm sure y'all are experiencing too.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna take authority over. We got to take authority over these mountains of influence throughout our nation. Right. I believe God's doing that right now. But we're going to take authority over these billboards that the enemy's used for so long to deceive us and put out, messages that aren't truthful. And we're gonna, Psalms 20 verse 5 says, "In the name of our God, we will raise our banners." So that's what we're going to do. My wife was reading in that. When she came to me, she goes, "Babe, look what I found in Psalms." And this first start, I was like, "That's it. That's what we're doing. We're going to march forward as the army of the Lord. We're going to raise banners of truth across this nation." Well, actually, I said we're going to raise a banner of truth in our town because that's as far as we thought this was going to go.
Yeah.
We're just going to try to wake up our community, but the Lord had a different plan.
Oh my, of course, as always.
Yeah, and it's an amazing testimony because we're very simple people. We don't get out and do these kind of things. You're doing interviews with microphones, in front of us and getting up on platforms and talking in front of people. That's not our thing. We have a homestead way back out in the woods away from everyone. That's how we like living. We like people, but, we never thought we'd be doing anything like this. And God said, I've got a plan because this way he gets all the glory.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So he called us out. Essentially, the way the story goes is Clay Clark saw this billboard we had put up in town. My mom had texted him a picture of the billboard and had his logo on it. And he said, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you." I thought I was in trouble, right? I'm like, "Oh boy, I didn't ask for his approval. I didn't think they would care. It's free advertisement, right?" So we get on a Zoom call. I'd never done Zoom before. I'd figure out how to download Zoom. I get on there, and he comes on. He opens with his show. He's like, yes, welcome to the Clay Clark Show. I about fall out of my chair. I'm thinking I'm just having a conversation with this guy. He starts talking about how many billboards we have up and what our plans are, and then I'm thinking, I would love to put up billboards all over the nation, but we can't. We can barely fund this one in town. We actually had some folks in town that heard about what we were doing. They're like, "Hey, that shouldn't be just your responsibility. It's our town too. It's our community. How can we help?" And they wanted to donate. So we set up that Give, Send, Go campaign. And that's the alternative to the GoFundMe, the Christian alternative. Great guy, Jacob Wells, the owner of that. Good Christian man. We met him. He's a really nice guy.
Good.
Well, we had set that up. And, after we did that interview with Clay Clark, we started getting some donations. And we're like, oh, we got like $3,000 in our Give, Send, Go. What's happening? We sit down. We watched the And We Know show, right, with LT. And it was like 2 days after this interview. I guess someone had sent it to LT, and one of the images on there had the And We Know logo. So he put it on his show. And I'm like, what are we doing on the And We Know show, right? He plays a little clip of that interview. I about fell out of my chair. And our phones just go nuts. The notifications were on. It was like ding, 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 ding. We had to turn it off. Right? It was just crazy. So many people, when they heard this message about what we were wanting to do, it resonated with them. They wanted to get involved. They wanted to help raise a banner of truth too. They understand how important it is. If we don't do something now, we're going to lose it all. We're going to lose our children. We're going to lose our family. We're going to lose this nation. So the wonderful folks over on the And We Know show, they donate over $30,000 in 24 hours.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, okay, babe, what is happening? right? We got like 33,000. Like, right, we were happy that we had like $200,
Yeah.
right, to help cover that $800 billboard. We're like $30,000, and then Stu Peters calls, and he wants to, do an interview. And we have an amazing conversation. We're praying together on the phones. Like, what is happening, Lord? We do an interview. $20,000 more comes in, so we're like 50 grand. This is like in the first few days of having this billboard.
Oh my
out.
gosh.
Wow.
And then Clay calls. He's like, hey, if you ever want to come to one of our conferences, I'll get you free tickets to get you in. Get you VIP tickets or something. And I was like, well, we were actually just that day, I was about to order tickets to go to the Dallas conference.
Yeah.
It was going to be happening here in a couple of weeks. He's like, you want to go to the San Antonio conference? I was like, yeah, well, let's go to the Dallas one. I have no reason to go to both because they were happening kind of back to back. He calls back, he goes, are you sure you don't want to go to San Antonio? It's like, well, maybe I should be in San Antonio. I was born and raised in San Antonio. I'm an Alamo boy. I got friends and family down there. Okay, we'll go to San Antonio next weekend. We kind of stop what we're doing. We travel down there, and I'm like, we weren't speaking or anything. He's like, if you want to set up a booth, you can go ahead. I'm like, a booth? Like, what do I do with the booth? Right? And I was like, well, what are we doing? Like, we don't even know what we're doing. So we put up a little sign-up sheet. Does anybody wants to help us raise a banner, fill out your information, print out a little banner with the graphic on it. And we're standing there, and Clay's like, hey, I want you to tell everybody what you're doing. It's like, I am. I'm telling everybody that comes by. He goes, no. I want you to get up on the platform
Oh my gosh.
and tell everybody what you're doing. I'm like, Clay. I was like, I don't even know what we're doing. I'm not getting up in front of thousands of people. He's like, I'll tell you what. He's like, you pray about it, and you let me know, and I'll get you up there. So I went back to the Airbnb. I prayed about it, and the Lord spoke a message to me so clearly. He gave me a word for that next day. He said, this is what you're going to tell the people. And, it was more of a reminder that we are first the army of the Lord, right? Before we're the army of this nation, before we're the army of Trump, right? We're the army of the Lord. And I think so many of us have forgotten that if God be for us, who can be against us? And we've been afraid to face these giants. And it was just like when David went to the, Israelite army, and he said, what are you doing? Like, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the army of the living God? What are y'all doing cowering over here? Like, give me that stone. And he went up and took care of the giant. And here I am reminding everybody, look, Psalms 20, verse 5. We're going to raise our banners across this nation. We're going to march forward as the army of the Lord. And we're going to call on him to fight this battle for us. But we're going to do our part. And it was really powerful. It's actually, it's kind of our mission, speech. And I got it right there in the middle of our website, banners and 4freedom.com. It's right there in the kind of middle there. And what happened next was absolutely shocking. If the Clay Clark interview wasn't shocking enough, and then the And We Know interview and Stu Peters, people start coming up to the platform and donating money. Before I was even done speaking, Clay grabs the mic and he goes, hold on, don't go nowhere. We're going to raise $100,000.
Wow.
I said, oh, get out of here.
Whatever.
And he tells his production guy, he's like, play $100,000 raising music. The guy plays Waymaker. I'm like, well, that's appropriate because we're going to need the Waymaker to show up to make this possible. People just started coming up to the front and filling up trash bags full of cash.
Oh my God.
Wow.
We're just melting down in the back, trying to hold it together. We're like, Lord, what in the world are you doing? We count up the cash. It's $22,000. We look at our gifts and go, $28,000. That's $50. Get this. A guy came up on the platform and he said, I'm going to match everything that's donated today. He didn't know how much was donated. I called him up. I said, hey, so we're at like $50,000. He goes, give me your bank account number. Wired 50 grand over. We raised exactly $100,000.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Not even trying to hit that number, right? It just happened. And it was like God was saying, look, I'm in this. Move forward. Get these banners of truth raised across this nation. That's just one testimony.
Wow.
Of how God has orchestrated all of this. There's my wife,
I was
Jamie,
going to say,
there.
is that your wife?
Yeah, there she is, and our son, Elijah. This is all her fault. That's why we're sitting here behind a mic, right? I should be on a tractor right now.
Well, she's the one who really got it started. She should be over here.
I know,
She
right?
should. Mhm.
Just like nothing.
She's shaking her head.
Uh-uh.
Nope, I'm good over here.
Yep, I'm good.
Well, I think what you guys are doing is absolutely phenomenal. And it's something that, we need to support. The $100,000, that's an amazing testimony. And that's, just phenomenal And you've raised so far $445,000.
Yeah, I think we're like 470,000, which has allowed us to put up 180 plus billboards in over 30 states.
Yeah, 30 states, but Idaho's not one yet.
No, it is.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't see Idaho on here.
Idaho's on there. Yep. If you scroll down to keep going a little bit further, click on that full.
Oh,
location
you know what? I didn't hit
Oh.
the show more.
Yeah, well, if you click on that guy right
Can't
there,
even
you'll
work
scroll down to
technology.
Idaho. We had several billboards up.
Oh,
So, how do you choose locations?
Well, it's interesting. So, we've never done this before, right? In the beginning, we didn't really know what we're doing. And we started praying about it. The Lord sent us a guy who sources billboards.
Really?
And he finds the independent billboard operators throughout this nation. These are the true patriots, and they're the ones that are willing to put this message up.
Yeah.
You see, like Clear Channel and Lamar, these bigger ones, they will not allow this message up. So we're like, how are we going to do this? We went to them first. So we started putting up banners as these different companies would approve them. If they approved it,
Gotcha.
boom, we're getting a banner up. Boom, we got a banner up. And it just happened to start in the East Coast, and it fanned this flame all the way across to the West Coast. And then, now it's just that it's morphed into several different things and different reasons why we get them in different areas. Some people they'll have a group, a patriot group, like, we want a banner up in our town, and they'll raise the money, and then they'll fund the billboard, and then we'll just help facilitate it. We'll get the graphics up and make it happen.
Wow.
We'll have independent people. We had this one sweet lady who has put the same billboard, paid for the same billboard up in New Jersey, I believe, for several months now. And then, we're in 33 states. We want to be in all 50. Some states are harder to get into than others. But, as we rate them, as we get, approval to get them up in these states, we do. And we've done bus benches and
Really?
mobile digital trucks.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
great.
And indoor billboard, over 500 indoor billboards, those TV screens you see in like doctor offices and different places like that. And then there's Times Square.
Yeah, that's
Did you get
awesome.
it up in Times Square?
We're in Times Square live right now.
That's so exciting.
So
Yeah.
this is amazing. Like, we never thought we'd be up in Times Square. They're not going to
Yeah.
allow this message.
Right.
The VARS data, 1 million plus people, So this company had actually contacted my wife. We got back from the Phoenix conference. They called her up and they said, hey, we heard about what you're doing. We had a company purchase a 3-month slot on our board. It's $90,000 for 3 months. And then, it's an ad that comes up. It's a 10-second animation. It comes up every 5 times an hour, throughout the week. And they put down $60,000 of the 90. Then they pulled out of the contract and left the country and left that money on the table. And he said, we'll give you that slot if you come up with the remaining balance of $30,000. I go, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was like, babe, how much money do we have in the account? She's like, like $5,000. Like, ooh, how much time do we have to make this decision? Like, we need to know by tomorrow. I'm like, oh,
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Well, we'll let you know tomorrow. We're going to pray about it. All right. So we did. And I feel like the Lord said, look, I didn't give this to you to tease you with it. This is your board. And it's a corner board, right? So it's like a cornerstone.
Yeah.
And it's 2 boards in one. It's like a double portion, right? And it's above all the other boards right there in that location.
Okay.
So it's just amazing, right? And he said, if you take care of it, I'm going to take care of you. Okay. So what does that mean? Like, you want me to pay for it? I was like, I got a card. I can do that. So I put it on our credit card. 2 days later, a gentleman calls and he goes, I heard you're getting up in Times Square. Yes, actually we are. They tell me the story. I tell him the story. I said, no. So you did the right thing. That's not your responsibility. So give me your bank account number and wire $30,000.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Like,
It's amazing.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Another testimony
Yeah.
that we're moving the right direction here. And this company's been very good to us. They've allowed us to put not only the VARS numbers up there, which have been live since January and updated every Friday. We update.
Wow.
We've been able to put up other messages of truth. All right. So, I mean, stuff from the Mar-a-Lago being raided, right? Things about January 6th, all sorts of different truth messages. Like if you go to our Telegram channel, banners number 4 freedom. There's the, you can pin a message on Telegram.
Yeah.
If you click on those pinned messages, it'll cycle you through all of our Times Square billboards.
Nice.
And it'll land you on a flyer. If you scroll down one post under that flyer, it'll have the actual video. So you can see it rolling and see the animation. This is an
that's
actual animation. Like we had Fauci up there and as a meme of Fauci being drug out by the Punisher and John Durham and being thrown out, and then Trump comes in with a slap. You know the Will Smith slap?
Yep.
And it's Trump and Fauci. It's so awesome. We have a lot of fun with it. And then we've been giving the surprise shout out to these digital media warriors out there that have been sacrificing so much to get the truth out. Every week we'll do a new shout out to one of these guys. So it's absolutely amazing what the Lord has facilitated.
It's amazing.
So
All right.
I have a question before
Yes.
you go. Sorry to interrupt. How did your mom get Clay Clark's phone number?
Right. Well, she was actually ordering a ticket to the conference.
Oh, so okay.
She was ordering a ticket, and you do
Gotcha.
it through text message.
Right.
And I had texted her a picture of the billboard, and she saw that. She goes, huh. She forwarded that on to whoever
That
she was
number.
buying the ticket to,
Yeah.
who showed Clay.
Okay. All right. I get it. I'm like, I thought she had some secret magic potion way to get his number.
Clay gives out his personal phone number.
Yeah, but that means I have to talk to him.
Yeah, well,
No, I know. I'm just joking.
he gets a lot of messages.
He's
Apparently,
great.
don't do it on Zoom the first time.
Oh.
You might
Yeah.
end up live.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's great. Robert, I think it's absolutely amazing what you do. If you guys want to donate, go to givesendgo.com/banners, the number 4, freedom. Thank you.
Hey, thanks
Thank
for
you
having me.
so much.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.